The Justice Department is seeking the longest prison sentence yet in a case related to January 6th Capitol riots. Prosecutors allege U.S. Marine and former New York City police officer Thomas Webster came to the Capitol with military-issued gear and violently assaulted a D.C. police officer. He's set to be sentenced next Thursday. In a new court filing, the Justice Department requested a prison sentence of more than 17 years. Joining me now with more is CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, so why is the Justice Department seeking such a significant sentence in this case?
They say this case is especially different because Thomas Webster of New York wasn't just amid the mob that day. They say he was a Marine, former New York police officer, a member of the mayor's security detail years ago. And the argument will be made, Catherine, that he knew or should have known the danger this riotous mob posed to law enforcement and the impact of such a crowd at such a sensitive place at such an inflamed time. Webster was convicted by a D.C. jury quite quickly, in just a matter of hours, after prosecutors argued he not only swung a flagpole, attacked a police officer with a flagpole, he did it so ferociously, he broke the flagpole and continued to be a spearhead of the breach against the police line. He was, they say, a leader ready for battle, with tactical gear, with MREs, meals ready to eat, as if he was ready for this battle, this war beforehand.
Scott, you got to a little bit of his background, but there's also this element of premeditation in this case. What kind of weapons does the Justice Department allege that Webster brought to Capitol Hill?
That weapon always makes a difference at sentencing in January 6 cases, Catherine. I'm glad you picked up on that. They say that flagpole was a weapon. Just add that to the list of makeshift weapons alleged by the Justice Department in these Capitol attack cases. From brass knuckles to bear spray to tomahawks, knives, in some cases guns, baseball bats, hockey sticks, in this case for Thomas Webster, a flagpole. We've noticed the deployment or use of a weapon has been an aggravating factor in other January 6 cases. But here's the thing, Catherine, and there's no getting around this. It won't just be Thomas Webster and his loved ones watching this sentencing on Thursday. All the other January 6 defendants will be wise to tune in, because if the Justice Department succeeds in getting Thomas Webster 17 years in federal prison, that moves the goalposts. That's nearly double the longest sentence so far. It raises the stakes for more defendants to come. There are many more, hundreds more accused of using weapons or assaulting police that day.
What's the response from Webster and his attorneys?
Interesting argument I haven't seen before in the hundreds of other January 6 cases that have gone to sentencing. Among other things, in addition to the character they say he showed with the police and with the U.S. military, his defense lawyer argues that the defendant in this case, Thomas Webster, has disavowed and disabused himself of all these election fraud things he believed in 2020, and that he's a changed man philosophically when it comes to 2020. And one of the character letters written on behalf of Thomas Webster and submitted by the defense ahead of the hearing says the court should acknowledge and ascribe blame to former President Trump's, quote, despicable lies. This defendant, through his defense attorneys, taking a stand against Donald Trump. We don't see that frequently. We don't see it stridently in any other January 6 case. Catherine, let's see Thursday if that has any impact. If it does, other defendants will notice.
And maybe we get some context on 17 years. What other conviction would get you a sentence of that length? I mean, manslaughter? I mean, is that close?
Well, presumably, Catherine, the seditious conspiracy charges would yield that type of sentencing recommendation as well. Those cases haven't gone to trial, so that's just an estimate based on what the charging documents show and what others have estimated. In the federal court system, we see child exploitation cases yield that type of sentence. And yes, you see particularly violent crimes yield that type of sentence. The aggravating factors, though, go through a formula in the federal court system. This is not art. This is somewhat scientific in the federal court system. As you know better than anybody, they work through formulas and they work through layers, and the judge will have to navigate that next Thursday.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you.